It's the fall of 1988. I'm standing on a side street in New York with my friend Dave. We have just come out from our fourth Grateful Dead show of the week. We have 2 more to go. Wow. Yeah, we're very intense. We're near Madison Square Garden and we are waiting for a bus that is going to pick us up and take us to an after-hours party called Club Dead. And Club Dead, somebody gave us a flyer on the way in. Club Dead promises cheap drinks, good tunes, no cover, and a shuttle bus, like a school bus is going to come and get us. We have no idea where in Manhattan Club Dead is actually happening, but we are 23 and immortal, and these are details that do not concern us. I'm wearing a new t-shirt that I purchased on the way in. It's got cows on it, and they're branded with the Grateful Dead Steal Your Face logo, the one that has the skull and the lightning bolt on it. And where it would say Ben and Jerry's, it says Bob and Jerry's. It's a pun. And I'm very happy with my new shirt. And there's a guy at the bus stop, and he admires my shirt. And we don't know it yet, but this is Phil. Phil is about to become my first boyfriend. Not that Phil. Not that Phil. Don't get so excited. I didn't know if it was that Phil. Yeah, I'm a Phil girl. It was not that Phil. It's just random Phil. And Phil's about to become my first boyfriend. Phil is going to be the boyfriend that really matters. We get on the bus, we go to Club Dead, and I assume the drinks were cheap, but I don't really know because Phil's buying them all night for me and for Dave. And whenever we get high, we're smoking Phil's dope. And at the end of the night, after spending hours in a tiled basement somewhere in Manhattan with the sound reverberating off the walls, Phil gives me his business card and says, give him a call. And we get in the cab to go home, and I tell Dave, like, I'm not calling that guy. And Dave goes, like, why would you not call that guy? He is obviously into you. And I know why I'm not calling the guy. Dave doesn't know, but I'm not calling because I'm scared. I'm 23 years old, and I'm still a virgin. And I'm not just a virgin. Like, I've played spin the bottle at parties, but that's kind of it. Like, I've never been naked and in bed with a man. And this is my greatest shame. I don't know what it is about me that's different from everyone else, but I know that inside of me, something is different, and it is loathsome, and other people know it exists. And the longer this goes on, the worse it gets for me. But I stop and think, you know, I'm not a fat kid in Buffalo anymore. I live in the East Village. I've dyed my hair. I've lost some weight. And maybe Phil's my way out. So the next day I call him, and we make a date for the weekend. We go out in the village, and we eat some Italian food, and we come back to the apartment, and we walk up our 5 flights, and we make out some, and it's, you know, nothing too scary. We're all good. And we make another date for the next weekend. And I know now I need to kind of rally the troops. My 2 best friends, they know my secret. So first I go to my roommate Karen, and I ask her some questions about the things I think I'm gonna need to do, and she answers my questions. And I go to my gay bestie Mark, who knows everything there is to know about having sex with men. And he answers my questions in horrifying detail. And when we get to the word prostate, I'm like over and out. And I march myself down the avenue to Barnes & Noble. There was no Amazon. Amazon had not yet been invented. And with trembling hands, I give the cashier my purchase, which is this small current bestseller at the time called How to Make Love to a Man. It's hot pink, and it's full of, I assume, useful information. And I get home, and I thumb through it, and I see everything. And the next weekend, Phil and I go out again. And we come back to the apartment, and Karen has made herself scarce. And this time, we end up naked and in bed, and I take a deep breath, and I confess my secret to Phil. And Phil's very nice about it, actually. He says, you know, we'll wait till I'm ready. You know, I don't know how long he planned on waiting, but he says, we'll wait. And we make out. And I don't really have much to compare it to, but making out with Phil is not really by my book. It's kind of odd. He never touches me with his hands. It's a lot of dry humping. And Phil is very invested in what he calls getting head. This is what he wants. And he keeps asking, often, and I don't know, you guys, he never offers to go down on me. And I just gotta say, if there were ever a moment to lead by example, this is it. But no, it's just a lot of nudging and nudging, and I resist, because it feels to me even more intimate than actually having sex with this man. A few weeks go by, and finally the big night comes. And it just takes a few minutes, and it's done. It's nice enough, and I'm not a virgin anymore. And Phil leaves the next morning, and Karen's waiting for me in the kitchen, and I tell her what's happened, and she's happy for me, and she says, "Did you have an orgasm?" And I say, yeah? I think so, maybe. And she says, no. She says, "You'll know." And she seems to imply that maybe Phil's not so great at this sex stuff, but okay, we'll stick with it for a while. And I do. For the next few weeks, Phil and I go out, and I test out all my girlfriend-y stuff on Phil. I bring him on double dates with my friends, and I buy him spontaneous gifts, and I write him a letter and sign it, "I love you," which I'm not so sure I do, but it feels like the thing to do. And he will bring that letter up a month or two later when we break up and make sure I know that he doesn't feel that way about me. But that's okay, I can live with that, because by now what I know is I'm a cool kid living in an East Village 5th floor walk-up, and Phil is living at home with his parents in Queens, asshole motherfucker, and I'm done with him, right? And I move on. And it's great. I'm in New York, I'm in my 20s, I have a fine time, and eventually I meet Andrew. We date, we fall in love, we get married, we build a life together, we have children. And even for a storyteller, some things are private, so I'm not gonna tell you about our sex life. But I am gonna tell you this. I chose my husband for many reasons. Among them is that he has always had excellent leadership skills. Thank you.